Well, let's return to our top story, the conflict in the Middle East. Samuel Ramani is an associate fellow at RUSI think tank and CEO of Pangea Geopolitical Risk. Samuel, welcome back. So strikes on Iran quickly followed by a range of attacks across the region. What's your assessment of the latest information we're getting? I mean, just how extensive is the spillover?
Well, the spillover has been multiple layered, right? There was initially ballistic missile strikes against Israel, and that was swiftly followed by attacks on the major military bases of the United States in the Gulf. And now it seems to be something that's much broader than that. We started with tourism hotspots like the Fairmont in Dubai or the Crown Plaza in Manama. And now it's energy facilities, like we saw disrupting Qatar's LNG, and also blockading the Strait of Hormuz. And we're now probably seeing the expansion of that to other areas like Aramco and Iran. And we've seen the engagement of the Iraqi and Lebanese allies of Iran, Hezbollah and the Popular Mobilization Forces, against the Arab countries. So this is now a far-reaching attack on energy markets, Arab countries, and Israel, as well as U.S. military installations, in tandem with the U.S. and Israeli barraging all across Iran.
We were reporting earlier on in the programme on the mixed messages from the White House. What do you see as the United States and Israel's objective in attacking Iran?
Well, the U.S. objective has actually been quite ambiguous to some extent. On the one hand, they do talk about regime change quite a bit. And they talk about, for example, like how this is a unique and historical opportunity for the Iranian people to rise up against their government. There seems to be a belated response to the protests that were very intense in late December and early January. But on the other hand, there isn't much appetite for a ground invasion from the U.S., even though Trump won't close the door on it. And only about 25% of Americans approve of what Trump has been doing. Even Republicans are pretty divided on the issue. And so I think that in general, the Americans will probably settle for the destruction of the Iranian Navy, the destruction of Iranian nuclear facilities and ballistic missile facilities, and whether the Islamic Republic falls with it will be dependent on how hard they push. But I think that the military threats as they see from Iran will be the key priority in terms of their actions.
Is there any sense that the United States might have underestimated Iran?
Yes, I think that there's a tendency to kind of equate the Islamic Republic with the Ayatollah, Khamenei, and kind of assume that decapitating Khamenei and decapitating the senior leadership will lead to a collapse of the broader regime structure. So they were kind of comparing it, obviously, like to the overthrowing Assad and the Ba'athist institutions in Syria collapsed, toppling Saddam Hussein, and the Ba'athist institutions in Iraq collapsed. Obviously, both those countries had very much personal loyalty from their militaries, hollowed out institutions. Iran and its government is many layered. I mean, you've got the Ayatollah and the clerical establishment on the top. You've got the RGC as an alternative power vertical. And you have a nationalist base which may have swung against the government because of socioeconomic conditions, but could swing back either into apathy or in its favor in the event of an attack, like we saw in June. So I think that the Americans did underestimate the extent to which the Islamic Republic runs much deeper than just Ayatollah Khamenei and his inner circle.
Samuel, good to see you. Thanks so much for your time. Samuel Ramani, the Associate Fellow at RUSI, the think tank, and CEO of Pangea Geopolitical Risk.